The band is back. I'm finally back online on LinkedIn. Welcome to my LinkedIn family. Welcome to my Facebook family, and welcome to YouTube channel followers. I'm so glad and blessed to be connected and out in virtual wonderland with you all. Thank you very much. So I had as a lot of my close connections know, I was on a bit of an extended leave from social media. And don't need to go into the details there, but suffice to say that I've missed you all, and I'm been so glad for the wonderful support of these two amazing individuals that I figured the best way to kick off getting back onto LinkedIn was to have a health discussion with Dr. Irene Kopp and Dr. Elizabeth Yarnell. Both do things that are really near and dear to my heart. I am an MS sufferer. And I recently, about a year ago, I did a boot camp with Dr. Irene Kopp, and suffice to say, I got great results from it. It was to help eliminate stress and manage stress and all that good stuff. But it also, as a byproduct of what she taught me, got rid of some of my MS symptoms that medication could not, which is just amazing. And it's helped keep it. What she's coached me has helped keep it in check. And it was through Dr. Irene that I met Dr. Elizabeth Yarnell here, who specializes in autoimmune disorders, which MS is. And I just thought it'd be perfectly apropos and great to have the three of us kind of get together and talk about how you help folks like me and others. So welcome to both of you. I'm so really happy to have you here. I want to start off with Dr. Irene.
Hey, Bob.
Let's just give everybody a shout out to you, and tell us what you're all working on right now.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. I'm honored that we are your first guests back in quite some time. That makes
it's almost like a Johnny Carson kind of resurgence. You know what I'm saying?
That we need to do the top 10. Oh, sorry, that's David Letterman.
Yeah.
That's that.
We'll have to do, if I had envelopes, I'd do Carnap. Although most of the kids these days don't have no idea what that means, but that's okay.
They're missing out. That's all they need to know. All right. So awesome. So thank you again so much for having Dr. Elizabeth and myself. And I'll start it off by saying that autoimmune conditions are near and dear to both of our hearts. And I'll let Dr. Elizabeth tell her story and why. And for me, it's that I am it. Okay, I'll just total transparency. One of my favorite pet peeves is, and many of you might know that I'm both a medical doctor of chiropractic, acupuncture, so I span both Eastern and Western medicine. And it drives me crazy that there is this blind spot in conventional medicine to autoimmune conditions and what really causes them and how best to manage and heal from them. Because frankly, conventional medicine doesn't know. They understand that autoimmune conditions, which really just means that it's the body attacking itself in some way, shape, or form. And so they understand that. They also understand that it's due to inflammation. I know Dr. Elizabeth loves to talk about that, so I'll leave that to her. And they also understand that if you have one autoimmune condition, you are greatly at risk for developing one more, two more, three more, four more. And so autoimmune conditions, in case people don't realize, yes, multiple sclerosis is one of those. Allergies, which we take for granted that it's, you just go and get some Benadryl or whatever. Maybe you have an EpiPen if it's that severe, right? But allergies are an autoimmune condition where it's It's where your immune system has this hyper reaction, an overreaction. It can be sensitivity reactions. So, like food sensitivities, yes, they are a real thing and they're documented in pathology textbooks. And then other conditions like thyroid conditions like Graves and Hashimoto's, or rheumatoid arthritis, eczema, so skin rashes, psoriasis, they're all autoimmune conditions. And so you may be suffering with one or more of these and not even know. Asthma, like we could do like a whole list
Mm-hmm.
of what they are. So you may have a so-called mild one like eczema, and just know that you'll be predisposed to things like asthma or to other, like multiple sclerosis, right? So it's so important for us to finally drill right down to the root of what is causing an autoimmune condition, and there are multiple root causes, and start like just like pulling a thorn out. You have to drill down to get the full root, because otherwise it's just going to grow back and probably even bigger, right? So that is why Dr. Elizabeth and I are so passionate about this, is that between my way and her way of treating, like we both have our innovative, I'll call them advanced ways
Mm-hmm.
of working with, treating, and helping people heal. It's not us healing, right, from autoimmune conditions. So bringing those two approaches together, basically there's nobody else doing what we're doing. And so otherwise we would have been like, hey, go to this person or go to that person. No, it's like, so we saw a need and we're answering it. And I'm so happy and fulfilled that we are. So I wanted to thank you for letting me rant.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I love it. Well, uh, so a little bit on my MS. I have 7 lesions on my brain and 3 lesions on my spine. And since I've taken the boot camp, in fact, I was just up for my neurologist checkup yesterday. She can't believe that I haven't progressed at all. I have relapsing remitting MS, and it's more hidden on me than anything else. You know, it has to do with the feeling in my hands. They're always numb. The right side of my face is pretty much feels like it's asleep all the time. Weakness in my legs, and just different things like that. And it wasn't until I got the coaching from and the practices through Dr. Irene that I actually restored feelings in my hands. And I'm working on getting my face a little bit better, but it works because when I get in trouble and I go get someone goes to hit me, I just go like that. So that way at least I don't feel it. So Dr. Elizabeth, give us a little bit about your background and what you're doing with autoimmune disorders.
Okay, so a couple things first off the bat. I have to give a little legal disclaimer. The state of Colorado has decided I'm not allowed to be called Dr. Elizabeth, even though I have a doctorate in naturopathy.
We're global, so, Dr. Elizabeth, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I just want to like cover my butt.
For those of you in Colorado who aren't high right now watching this.
Yes. Number 2, Dr. Bob, I just love what you just said about how.
Well, I'm legal disclaimer. I'm not a doctor.
Oh, okay.
I'm an innocent bystander.
Okay, but I love what you just said about Irene's program, because that's what we are about to debut, this program that combines what Irene taught you with the more functional medicine parts of how I help people with MS and other autoimmune diseases, and we are combining them into one autoimmune reset program. So super cool that you have gotten already such great results with just that part of our program, which is like half of it. So I love hearing that. My background is that I was diagnosed with MS in 1999, way back then, after I went to sleep as normal and I awoke the next morning blind in my right eye. And it turned out I had optic neuritis, which is a very common harbinger of multiple sclerosis. And I had at that time something like 19 scars on my brain.
Ooh.
So I definitely have MS. It's not that I don't have MS,
Mhm.
but as I learned a lot about how to manage my own health and help myself avoid the relapsing part of relapsing remitting MS. I tried the drugs and I had terrible side effects for many years and was still progressing, still having relapses on the injectable drugs.
Mm.
So I stopped that and went a completely different route, which is how I empower other MS patients to reclaim control over their health. Because what I teach is, how do you figure out exactly what are the triggers to your MS symptoms? And there are always triggers.
Yep.
And then how do you design your life and your lifestyle to avoid those triggers? And it really works just like for celiac patients. Once they figure out that gluten is their problem and they learn to stay away from gluten, they live a pretty normal life as long as they stay away from gluten. It is the same with MS patients in many ways. We just need to figure out what that trigger is. It's sometimes gluten, but it's not ever only gluten.
Yeah. Yeah, it's multiple things for different people. I have a very good friend of ours, almost like a daughter to me. She was just recently diagnosed with MS. So I'm going to introduce her to you both for sure.
Well, she would be a good candidate to come
Yeah.
work with us in our program that we're going to launch next month, very soon.
October.
It is
October.
already next month, this month.
Tomorrow. No, we're not launching it tomorrow. But
Not
October.
launching it tomorrow. Soon, though, and it's coming up. And there are so many really, really cool parts about this program. I don't know, Irene, can I mention the coolest thing that's going to happen at the end of the program?
Yeah.
I just realized what you're talking about. Sure.
Because this is new for me, but we are having kind of a celebratory graduation style retreat in Costa Rica at the end of this program that will be available for anybody who participates to come along and play with us and celebrate with us and learn more in Costa Rica. So I know I
Wow.
shouldn't really spill those beans so early, but I just can't stop because we're just getting all the details together now, and super exciting.
Very cool. That's awesome. I didn't know
Mhm.
that. That's very cool.
Well, it
it's-
really
nobody
is
knew.
brand new.
It's a new part.
Exactly. And if I may, like, since we're talking about this program, it's called it's a 4-month program. It's called the Autoimmune Reset Experience. And it's all about reclaiming your health, reclaiming your energy, reclaiming your life, like everything that has been taken from you with suffering from an autoimmune condition. And it's, again, not us healing you. We're not doing this in our capacity as doctors. We're doing this as guides, mentors, coaches, educators, teaching you the tools that will help you help yourself. And again, that's something I'm very passionate about, is that teaching a man how to fish and feeding him for a lifetime, right? So this program is designed and delivers on this to guide you inch by inch, step by step, from point A to point B. And yeah, Bob, your results are, may seem miraculous. And yet when you first told me about them, actually, I first saw them on LinkedIn because I didn't even know you had MS when you took the Retrain Your Brain boot camp. And when we talked about it, you said, it's a miracle. And I was like, no, it's energy efficiency. In other words, what we're doing with the portion that I teach is resetting your stress response, balancing your nervous system dysregulation. In other words, and helping you develop resilience, because one of the big triggers for autoimmune conditions is stress and overwhelm. And then very, very, very importantly, helping you eliminate, release the biggest, baddest energy vampires that you have in your life, and they're ones that you are likely not even aware of,
Mm.
because hardly anybody actually knows about, and I'm talking about practitioners, don't know about these. That is why I'm so thrilled to and feel so passionate about bringing this to the world, because it's when you start to free up that precious life energy, right? Then you have the energy available to actually heal, to heal yourself. And so and actually the boot camp that you took, it was only like half the length of what I teach now. So it's even better. So you're gonna have to join us again, Bob.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I was going to say Dr. Yarnell and Dr. Elizabeth. I'm going to just say Elizabeth, if that's
works.
okay, because I don't
That
want to get
works.
you in trouble with Colorado. Although again, I say they're probably too high to be watching this anyway. So when you talk to your MS clients, right? Give us a little taste or a little, kind of preview of what you work them through.
So my program, or my part of this program, consists of a couple of actual physical laboratory tests that give us very concrete data to work with to make targeted adjustments in your body. So
Okay.
I use and if you join this autoimmune reset experience, this is part of it. So you'll get a blood draw kit, and that will go off to the lab, and that will help us design a customized anti-inflammatory diet for you. You'll receive a urine collection kit, and that will go off to the lab, and that will help us address digestion and facilitate complete and optimal digestion in your body as we go through this. And then the third thing that you're going to receive is an herbal parasite protocol, because hidden infestation from parasites is, I think, a huge contributor to MS and autoimmune conditions in our world.
Wow. And how does that work? I've never heard of that.
So that's a very, very gentle herbal protocol, just a combination of 4 different herbs, and you get a calendar. You just check off when you take the herbs at certain points in your day over the course of a month, and that addresses the 3 parts of a parasitic life cycle, which are the eggs. Some parasites lay 2,000 eggs a day, the larvae, which are like the teenagers, and then the adult parasites. You may have a hidden parasitic infestation. I find so frequently that they are associated with autoimmune conditions in general, because it's just really, really easy to pick up parasites. And as I was
Wow.
Dr. Irene the other day, there's no stigma attached to that, because anybody can pick up parasites from eating sushi, from swimming in a public pool or a lake or a river, or working in your garden, or cleaning out your kitty litter box. It's just really, really easy to pick up parasites in the world.
Wow. And that's why I don't have cats. Exactly why I don't have a cat.
That's good, because the parasite Toxoplasma gondii, which comes from cleaning out kitty litter boxes, is maybe one of the most common parasitic infections in our world.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
This would make a good Halloween episode.
Oh, it would. I have to tell you, one of my favorite 4 shows at one point was called Monsters Within Us, and it was all about people with parasites.
Wow. And so after doing all this, then, so are you really involved with teaching clients, how to eat better, how to cleanse better?
Yep, it's all about personal empowerment, because I believe that you shouldn't sit around and wait for a doctor's appointment that might be 2 months away before you take charge of your health, that you should take some responsibility. It's not all about, or even has to be any about, taking any of the pharmaceutical drugs, because really it matters the most to you or to me, right? You have MS, I have MS. My future and my health matters the most to me, more to me than anybody else in this
Mhm.
world, any doctor, any expert, anything. And I am empowered when I can take charge and take actions that actually help me reclaim and be healthier.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it's one of the things that drive me as well too. I mean, for me, you know, I've got 2 grandkids at this point, and I want to be able to play with them. I want to be able to pick them up, want to be able to run with them, walk with them in the park. And I'll tell you, you know, on days that I have where it hits me a little bit harder and I can't really walk very well, that scares me, which is why, you know, I love what the coaching Dr. Irene has given me. That helps. It definitely does.
I love hearing that. So if you join us in the autoimmune reset experience, you will gain tools and insight and be able to make those correlations between on the days that you are feeling like less mobile and less able, you will be able to do the detective work and identify what triggered that so that you can go forward avoiding that in the future and not have those days as frequently.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now, you know, if it's an often used phrase, and it almost to the point where it's overused, but knowledge is power,
It
right?
is.
And in this case, what you both are teaching are very, very powerful bits of knowledge that will help people through these types of illnesses, right? I mean, I belong to a couple different MS support groups, you know, and I've seen the whole range of impact that MS can do, and damage that it can do, and I think what you guys are putting together and what you're doing is just amazing. And we got to get you in front of some MS support groups, that's for sure.
I think that's a great idea. In fact, we should probably do an MS support group tour or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, no, absolutely. I'm going to work on that. That's a great idea.
We would love for you to schedule that, Bob.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on that today.
Yes,
I think that's a great idea, and I don't know why I didn't think of it sooner.
I'll visit Chicago.
You're
yeah,
more
we
than
can
welcome.
come in
You wanna join us in
person.
Chicago?
Yeah, I got all kinds of room here. You guys can both come and stay here. No problem. You have to like dogs.
I
though.
actually
we don't have cats. We have dogs.
love dogs. We
Right,
all
well,
love dogs.
German Shepherds.
I have actually a book coming out in January called Redefining MS and Autoimmunity. And it's a whole guide to empowering people to reclaim control over their health and what the essential steps to do that are, and how every little action as an individual that you take for yourself can affect your health positively or negatively. So it's incumbent upon each of us to be aware of these things and to understand how everything that we do affects our bodies.
Wow, that's awesome! Congratulations on the book. I have to get an autographed copy from you when it comes out.
100%. And if we do a live book tour or MS support group tour or anything like that, that will definitely be a good opportunity for that as well.
We're gonna do that. I promise you guys. I'm gonna start working on that as soon as we're done with the broadcast here. Start reaching out, because I'm actually kicking myself in the butt that I didn't think of it sooner. Sorry,
Well,
Dr. Irene.
Better late than never. Better late than never.
Yeah.
There's still
I
lots
think
of people we can help.
it's a great idea. And we have time before we start this autoimmune reset experience as well for people still to jump in and join us in this cohort of this program.
So when does the program start?
It starts in October, and we haven't even actually announced it like formally to the world yet. So right now, it's your community, it's our community that is hearing about this, and we want to give you a jump start. So if you are suffering from an autoimmune condition and you want and need to make a change, and this sounds like it resonates for you, please go ahead and schedule a strategy session with actually it'll be with me. And so you get to talk with me, and we'll talk about whether it sounds like it's a good fit, because we only want people in the program who will be a good fit.
Right.
right? We don't want to waste your time. We don't want to waste your investment. And there is 100% guarantee if you do feel that you didn't get helped. And frankly, never had to give never given a refund yet
I'm
because,
proof. I'm
right,
proof.
because people have been so over the moon thrilled
I meant
with
to ask you
the
before we
results.
started I meant to ask you before we started the show. What's the URL for that to schedule something like that?
I put it in the private chat.
Oh, that's because I'm not in the chat.
Ah, there you go.
Oh, there we go. Strategy call. Okay.
Yeah. So if you go to drirene.life /strategy call, you can book a call with Dr. Irene and see if you're a good fit for this program.
Absolutely. Because here's the thing, we're only taking 30 people. So it's small group, high touch, high support, high accountability with not only Dr. Elizabeth and myself, you also get the support of our coaching staff. So they're going to be with you every step of the way, making sure that, that are you done this today? Do you have any questions? What can I help you with? How can I support you? And so this is very, right. In other words, we set you up for success in every way, shape, and form. So we're only taking, I was trying to do like 30 people, and that's worldwide. So this is your chance to hop in. And even if you're not sure if this sounds like it's a fit for you, just schedule the strategy call. You can talk with me, and we'll decide together whether it's a fit for you or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I will tell you both from my own personal experience. It's changed my life. It really has. And I know that I have more to go and more to do. But so far, with Dr. Irene's encouragement so far, and I'm sure, Elizabeth, with yours moving forward, I think there's going to be nothing that's going to be insurmountable for MS sufferers. And I want to thank you both for joining me and coming back to LinkedIn live and getting back off the ground. I do want to say that this really excites me a lot. That I'm going to start doing shows like this twice a week, Tuesday, Thursdays, 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern time, with Dr. Irene and a different guest each show. And we're going to showcase all the different ways that Dr. Irene and her faculty for the Stress to Success Institute are helping people of all kinds of disorders, right? That are affecting us, because let's face it, everybody's got something, right? And most everything is silent, and people suffer in silence. And I just love the way that you, Dr. Irene, and you, Elizabeth, are helping people who suffer silently. I think it's really important. And MS is a silent type of suffering, unless you get to the extreme, right, where you're in a wheelchair or crutches or some type of braces. And those are the extreme cases. Most cases, there are people around you that you would never even know you have MS. I mean, when I got diagnosed probably right around the same time that you did. I got diagnosed in '98. It was still a thing where people go, oh, he's got MS, right?
Yes.
So like, he's got cancer. Like, we were in the middle of building our house, which is a 2-story, right? And I was in the hospital while I was under construction. And my father asked me if I'm going to keep building this house. He said, you're going to need a ranch now because you're going to be in a wheelchair. I haven't got out of the hospital yet. I mean, give me a break. And, I just refused to let it get a hold of me like that, and fought it. And so, what you guys are proposing, what you guys do is just simply amazing.
Yes, I had a similar experience when I was diagnosed, where I had just recently become engaged, and I had to turn to my new fiance and offer him an out and say, I realize that a life with someone with multiple sclerosis is not what you signed up for when you proposed to me. And if you want out, now is the time.
Yeah. He didn't take the out, did he?
He didn't. He's much better than that.
Right,
and now we just hit 23 years or something like that.
Congratulations. So. That's awesome. Good for you. Good for you.
Yes.
I will also say, go ahead.
Yeah. No, go. But as I said, I didn't end up in that 80% of MS patients who are in a wheelchair within 10 years of diagnosis, because of the secrets that we are going to share in this autoimmune reset experience.
Awesome.
Okay, go ahead, Irene.
Well, I was just going to comment. I'm since I'm the only one here without multiple sclerosis. Knock on wood, find as much wood as I can. And at the same time, I'm going to relay a little bit of my experience, because you're so right. Like in the beginning, when MS was first recognized, and it's like it has, ramped up, like it came out of nowhere. And I was putting myself through my first degree working as like a private duty or nurse's aide, where I would go around to help people who were handicapped. And I had a lot of MS patients who were my clients. And I was scared. I still did it, but I was scared because at that time, they had no idea what even caused MS. And so every day I would walk out of, this house or that house, not knowing, because they thought, is it infectious? Is it right? So I still did the work and I still wanted to help. But at the same time, there was always this like, am I going to get MS? Because I didn't know. Right? Nobody knew at that time. It was like this big mystery. So it's, and there are so many causes. They think Epstein-Barr virus might be part of it, the same one that causes what's that called, the kissing disease, mono. It's more than just mono, but that's the so-called name for it. I had a client who was a high-powered stockbroker in Toronto. And within 2 years, in the building that they were at, he was diagnosed with MS. The man in front of him, who was also a stockbroker, was diagnosed with MS. And their receptionist, who was just right across their little, not alleyway, but, like the aisle. So within like 5 feet of each other, they were all diagnosed with MS within 2 years.
Oh.
And so it's like, I looked at that and went, what's the common denominator? Can we say sick building syndrome? So maybe there was like some kind of mold, or maybe there was some kind of electrical, like, there's so many ways that things that can actually cause it. And that's why it's so important to take a program like this, where we drill down and find out what caused your suffering and your flavor of the month, if you want to call it that, right? That is what Dr. Elizabeth is doing with her tests, with her assessments, is drilling down and finding out what is at the root cause, so that when you pull out that root, then everything else will disappear. Because the multiple sclerosis and the other autoimmune conditions, whether it's eczema or allergies or hypothyroidism or juvenile diabetes, right? That's just a symptom, really, of that deeper inflammation. And then it's important to find out, okay, inflammation just means the immune system is attacking the body in some way. And then finding out, okay, what's causing the body to attack itself. And so that is what I love about the collaboration, what Dr. Elizabeth and I are doing together.
It's going to be awesome. So make sure you take a look at the web address right down here, drirene.life/strategy call, and get signed up. And it doesn't hurt to have a conversation, right? I highly recommend it.
And fun to talk to.
Yep, you are. Yes, you are. You both are. And I will continue to push this, and people get sick of me saying it, but I don't care, because I think it's important. One of the things that I always say, especially on LinkedIn, is one connection can change a life. You guys, you both, Dr. Irene, and I'm going to say it, Dr. Elizabeth, are that one connection that have not only changed my life, but are changing other people's lives as well, too. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate that. And I can't wait to talk to you guys again.
Next time.
Next time. Take care.
Bye now.
Hang on, don't go anywhere.